The rest of God. The rest of God. There is the rest of God. Then there is the rest of God. Well, that's what we're talking about on this morning. Good morning, everybody. It's time for Morning Manna. And I certainly have a word for you on this morning. What a wonderful morning it is. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. It's Thirsty Thursday. I hope you're thirsty for the word because I certainly have an impartation for you on this morning's manna. How about that? Greet some people, get into the word so you can have the thirst for the Lord's word today quenched with what I'm going to share with you on this morning. The rest of God, the rest of God, or the rest of God. I'll share with you what I'm talking about here in a minute. Right after I greet some people on this morning, it's my homegirl this morning. How are you this morning, Dolores? How are you? Good morning, Liz. How are you? Good morning, Valerie. How are you guys on this morning? Ella, how are you on this morning? Dawn, how are you? Vaughn, how are you on this morning? Marie, how are you on this morning? Good seeing you all last night in Bible study. Man, Bible study last night was on point. Oh my God, did Kofi teach that word? Good morning, Denise. How are you? Now, if you don't attend New Life, or if you do and you didn't go to Bible study, shame on you. But then let me just give you the rest. There is some reprieve. You can go and watch the Bible study on YouTube or the Facebook pages, either one. You don't want to miss it though. It was talking about missed opportunities, the opportunity that we miss. And it was really a wide ranging study of the book of Corinthians, First Corinthians. Good morning. Okay. Good morning, Denise. How are you? Good morning, Brenda. How are you? Good morning, Elder Mobley. How are you? How is everybody? Gerald, how are you? Jewel, how are you? Brother Pope, how are you? Pamela, how are you all on this morning? Good morning, Carolyn. How are you? Anna, how are you? Patricia, how are you guys doing on this morning? Vicky, how are you guys? Look, it's all about the rest of God or the rest of God. Let me share with you what I'm talking about on this morning. It's the text to talk to take away the rest of God. Hebrews 3:18. Hebrews 3:18. Now, the book of Hebrews, probably written by Apollos, very eloquent Greek that he is, and he writes this word, and he's setting Jesus up as to be our high priest, the one that goes before the Lord and is the sacrifice after which we need no more sacrifice. So here we go. He's saying in Hebrews 3:18, and to whom did he swear that they would not enter his rest, that they would not enter his rest, but to those who were disobedient. Let's talk about the rest of God and the rest of God. To talk about the rest of God, I think that comes to my mind Jacob, who wrestled with God all night long. And as a result of that, he said, I will not let you go until you bless me. He saw the rest of God. He never knew that side of God. Every now and then you got to know a side of God that will cause you to be more acquainted with God and grow in God to be able to carry out his will in your life. So, what prevented him from getting the rest of God is that he knew a time in which he bargained with God, talking about Jacob. We are going to come to the text, hang in there. He was talking, bargain with God, and I said, Lord, if you do this, I will give you a tenth. If you keep me, if you watch over me, I'll give you a tenth. But then he saw another side of God, the rest of God. Same thing in the text. In the text, we have the children of Israel who are caught up in 40 years. That's what the writer is saying, Apollos is saying. And as a result of that, they never entered the rest of God. Three things I want you to grab as a result of that. The first thing is this: weary versus rest. Weary versus rest. Wreay. I hope my spelling is right. Versus rest. Many times we never enter into God's rest because we are weary in our life. You become weary when you're striving on your own, when you're trying to lift the weight on your own, when you're trying to do it on your own. And here we find in the text that the writer is lifting up the fact that they never came into the rest of God because they were always striving in themselves. Second thing is this: the worry versus rest. Worry versus rest. You know what? Worry, think about it. is simply something you cannot change by thinking about it. You can't. You really can't. That's what worry is. The worry is that is my preoccupation. Have you ever changed anything by worrying? Yeah, yeah. That's what the children of Israel did, and that's what the writer is raising. They was worrying about what to eat, and God had taken care of that with manna, morning manna. How about that? They were worried about what they were going to move into, the promises of God. And he said, no, if you just come out here and be with me for at least 3 days and worship me, you can leave your worry into rest. The weary versus rest, the worry versus rest. Here is the wonder versus rest. They wandered in the wilderness for 40 years because they never had enough sense to know that they had needed to have an awe of God. Remember, remember this. They're in the wilderness for 40 years, wandering around with the pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. If that does not bring you to a place of awe of God so that you can rest in God, I don't know what will. I really don't know what will. And therefore, you throw in the towel. That's what happened to them. Let's go back to the text, Hebrews 3:18. And to whom did he swear that they would not enter the rest, but to those who were disobedient? You become weary because you don't obey. You become worrisome because you don't obey. Wonder around in your situation because you don't obey. The takeaway is this: the rest of God is the obedience to God. What do you want me to obey? Trust him. Trust him. He said he will never leave you nor forsake you. He's got you. He's got you. Then you can enter into his rest. The Lord be with you today. May his face shine upon you and give you peace. Share this, man. If it bless you, bless somebody else. I'll see you tomorrow morning with more Morning Manna.